Okay, so we are continuing our project. Right now I would like to show you some changes that I've made to our UVs. This is our main texture right now. It's 4K, it's pretty huge. Later on the left we've got UVs for our supercharger and the air scope, and this will be 2K texture, but probably in game 1K texture will be enough. I've separated these elements because I want more quality on them. Later we've got UVs for our headlights, our backlights and the clocks that are inside of the vehicle, and I've separated them also because I want more quality and more control over this texture. And the last one are UVs for our tire, and this one will be in-game 1K texture, and we will bake of course a 2K texture. And of course I've made some changes to the UVs of the main body of the vehicle. Previously we've got unique UVs for every single part of the vehicle. Right now, for example, the elements that are mirrored on the other side of the vehicle share the same UVs. So for example, these pipes have the same UVs as these pipes on the other side of the vehicle, and many other parts like this, or these elements here. This way our texture is more optimized and we will achieve a better quality. Of course, before baking we should move our UVs on this place. So we can do this by selecting UVs that we want, and we can type for example 1 and move it right here. Of course our objects are separated, so there will be no overlying UVs. So let's turn off the main and the inside and the wheels. So this is our supercharger and air scope. Let's do the wheels right now. Of course we have to move it right here, and of course our headlights, backlights and the clocks we also have to move. Okay, now let's talk about normal maps. There are many different ways that you can do normals for your vehicle. It depends on what results you want to achieve and what vehicle you are doing. Let's say you want to have a nice reflections on the main body of the car, a nice car paint. In this case, many vehicles don't have normal maps baked from the high poly. So the normal map in this case is just a flat and have maybe some smaller details like some dirts and scratches, etc. This is because our normal map will be compressed in the game engine, and this can look really ugly sometimes, and our reflections might not be that sharp and high quality. Here is something for you. It's Karol Mikla's online portfolio on ArtStation. And I really recommend you to check this portfolio because there is many great examples of the normal maps on the vehicles, and many of these vehicles you can open in 3D and see wireframes and the normal maps. Some of them have baked normal maps from the high poly, and some of them have just a flat normal map for the main body of the car, so the reflections on the surface are very sharp, and there is no normal map compression glitches on the surface. So it's must checked if you want to understand better these things, because these are just great examples. Of course, generally in this case where you don't have normal maps baked from the high poly and you have this kind of flat normal map, you have to invest a little bit more into your model, into the polygons, into the poly count. Your model just have to be more detailed, because we have to support this geometry a little bit better. So instead of baking normal maps from the high poly, you have to spend more polygons. So the next case is when we want to create a little bit unique texture for the body of the car with maybe some heavy destructions or something like this, and maybe we don't need super nice reflections. In this case we can of course bake for the main body of the vehicle a normal map from the high poly version. In our vehicle the texture for the main body is 4K. It's pretty huge. Of course it could be smaller, for example 2 times 2048, but I wanted just a little bit more extra details on it, so it's 4K and we will leave it this way. Of course in the game engine, like for example Unreal Engine 4, we can create more advanced shader for the body of the car, for the texture, and we can optimize it. For example, we can use 4K texture only for the normal map, and we can create albedo using smaller T-label texture and multiply it by some unique dirt maps created particularly for this vehicle. And these dirt maps can be smaller than 4K, of course, let's say 2K for example. Okay, so let's go back to our model and let's bake a normal map for this part.